Here's all frizzy. Hello, hello. Right, a little bit closer. There we go. Why is my light all flickering? Do. Can you guys see me okay? Maybe it's because of the light in the back. Eric, stop playing with my screen. Hello, everybody. All right, hold on. Let me close this. Too many light differences. My computer doesn't know what to do with it. There, that might be better. There we go. Hi, guys. Give a few minutes, see if anybody comes up. In the meantime, I'll do my tea. Get my tea already. Feeling much better at this moment, but it's kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of solar activity going on this week, but there's, with the 8th of August, new portal opening up. Some people call it the Lion's Gate or something. Hi, Tessa. Lion's Gate. I don't know. My spirits called it the 11th gate. It's probably the same thing. All that energy flopping in and out. Boy. Been a weird 2 weeks lately. All right. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Tessa. Looks like we have a lot of requests on Patreon, on the Patreon page as well. How are you feeling, Tessa? Have you been sensing any extra fatigue, nausea, headaches, things like that? Because that's what's kind of, it's almost like our DNA right now is getting these hits with energetic reformation in order to establish us, to kind of get us stuck in the 5D frequency. And it's really tough on our physicality, I've noticed. Can you hear me okay? Look at my frizzy hair. It's all frizzy today. I hope you can. Hopefully the internet holds. The internet's a little bit iffy. Let's see. Let's turn up the volume. I don't know if you guys can hear me better this way. Can you hear me? Fatigue and introversion. Yes. Fatigue. But you know what? It just means that we're getting anchored into the 5D. So we just got to get through it. Honor the fatigue and just say, okay, lots going on. All right, Tessa, let's get you a card. Let's get going with you. Which one? For some reason, I get the animals. All right, Tessa, let's get you a card. Yeah, we're kind of going through the end stages, is what they're saying. The end stages of transcendence. And so these two parallel realities are like two train tracks running right next to each other. We have the 3D/4D reality, and then we have the 5D reality. And those two train tracks are running right alongside each other. But the reason they're running alongside each other is so we can hop from one train to the next. But we have to hop on moving trains, right? So it's a little bit tricky, emotionally, energetically, physically. And the thing is, somewhere in 2024, Spirit tells me, they can't give us the exact time or date because it depends on us, but they know for sure that in 2024, somewhere, hopefully at the beginning, could be the end of the year too, so we don't know. But in that year, next year, those two timelines are separating. So the portal is only open for almost like one more year to be able to hop on. The time is now, is what that basically comes down to. And so those timelines, those parallel timelines or parallel realities, are going to split up in 2024. Now, the evil forces are trying desperately to keep those two tracks together, because when the 5D moves away, they're kind of screwed. Okay, they lose almost 60 to 70% of their population that they can still control. Now, a lot of the evil forces have already moved on. Okay, they're already losing. There's only just a small amount of them left trying to salvage the power that still is there by kind of manipulating the timelines. The thing is, they can't stop us, and they can't stop the timeline if we all move into that new frequency. And so that's going to happen in 2024. And then if you've hopped onto the fifth dimensional track, then 2025 is going to be all about rebuild, reconstruction, things falling apart, so we can rebuild it, reinvent every system, and so on and so forth. So exciting times to come. So it's super important that we honor this year and next year the fact that we might not be able to have the energy, to have the focus, to do all the things that our human mind tells us we want to do. We have to kind of sit back and take it slow, live one day at a time. I need a card for Tessa. And roll with it. I have so many plans for this summer. I'm like, I'm going to paint this and do that. I haven't been able to do anything. I haven't been able to finish anything. Nothing. I have so many ideas that I want to do for you guys. I want to do videos, and I just don't have the energy for it. And I've had to surrender to the fact that that's just how it is. And it just means that, I have to take it slow, and I'll get back to a more fluent energy once we get to 2025. Very cool card, Tessa. Hi, Deborah. Look at that. Colorful. So one says, surrounded by prosperity, your attention is being drawn to the infinite nature of reality. We were just talking about that. That which exists outside the known is beyond a measure. And then the other one reads, disengage from outcomes. We were just talking about that. Isn't that crazy? Let go so you can open yourself to the highest love that you deserve. Find ways to release worry or any resolved lack of forgiveness you might be holding on to. All right. What am I getting for you? First, this card has like a lot of yellow fish, which really kind of draw the attention, right? But there's this beautiful sea turtle kind of hidden behind all of this. Look at me, we're yellow, we're so bright. And it's almost like you're the tortoise. You have endurance, you are a survivor, how would I say, you have this magical glow about you, this elegance. Have you ever seen a turtle when they go into the water? There's this elegance. They just flow. They're not in a hurry like fish. Like fish are like, ah. Fish always look nervous to me when I see them. But a turtle is never in a rush. Have you noticed that? It's always like, yeah, let's move on. And I feel like that's kind of the energy that you want to embrace, because that's who you are. And they're kind of showing me that you always push yourself too much. You put too much pressure on yourself. You want to kind of roll with everybody else. You want to be part of the pack. You want to be part of the wolves pack. But your soul is kind of like, no. Relax. Your soul chose a lifetime where the main focus is to learn how to just flow with your own current, your own rhythm, and to not allow yourself to be forced in some way or form, consciously or unconsciously, to have to go with the flock of everybody else, the rhythm of everybody else, right? And the only way you can do that is by releasing the expectations, because a lot of the things you want to accomplish in some way or form have been kind of imprinted into you from from other people, like other people's expectations, society's expectations. And they're kind of saying, sit with yourself and ask yourself, why do I really want to accomplish this, and why do I really feel like you need to do this and you need to do that? What is the purpose for you personally to reach all of that? What do you get out of the tasks and the jobs that you set yourself up to do? Because you'll notice they say that a lot of those things that you want to accomplish really are there to impress people, or to fulfill other people's needs, or because you are taught that that's what you do, right? You just following orders in a way, because you were, as a child, you were programmed that to think that way. But that's what you do. That's what's expected of you when you live in a society. So you better follow the rules. And they're kind of saying, disengage from that. Disengage. Learn to flow at your own pace, regardless of what people think of it. If they look at you and they think, oh, she's not really doing much, or she's being lazy right now, fuck it. So what? Okay. Your new mantra should be, so what? What is more important is that the more you flow with your own rhythm, the more you're going to receive guidance, clear guidance, and really the answers that you're seeking. And therefore, everything you do is no longer going to take so much effort from you and so much hard work. Everything will become more at ease. Everything will come to you with ease. Does that kind of make sense? I don't know if that makes any sense. Hi, guys. What is she saying? To go along with that timeline, I'm curious about all of the unhoused population. Are they actually high vibration? They are, because a lot of them choose not to be a part of the societal demands. And a lot of them choose to be homeless because it allows them to be free. So they will naturally very quickly move into a higher frequency. And then society in the higher frequencies will make sure that everybody's taken care of, and allow the opportunity to be more free and to be more engaged in following their passions, and so on and so forth. So yes. And the animals as well, because the animals are like, they're already in 5D. So they're going to be there. Tessa says, ooh, this sounds so accurate. I like the ooh. Sometimes I feel like life is moving too fast for me and I'm trying to keep up with it all. Yeah, they're saying don't keep up. Just flow at your own pace. If something doesn't get done, so what? It'll get done when it needs to get done. That's kind of the message that I'm getting, because like, here's all this is society and family and friends, and everybody's like, come on, we gotta do this, and we gotta accomplish that, and we gotta follow the rules, and we gotta do Christmas, and we gotta do all the holidays, and we gotta do this, and we gotta do that, and no, you don't. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. Okay. If you slow down, like the turtles live for a very long time. They can live up to 100 to 200 years. Why? Because they flow. They're like, yeah, let the sharks do what they do. Let the fishes do what they do. We're going to do our thing our way. Okay. So you got to go like the turtle in that movie, Finding Nemo. Dude, you got to become like that because that's who your soul is. Your soul she didn't want to get rushed. Okay. She came here to live life according to her own rhythm and share her qualities and her beauty and her presence with the people around them. And in being with your own flow, kind of inspiring others to do the same, because we're always in go, 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 go mode. And it's so against our nature. Okay. It's not who we are meant to be. It is what we were programmed to do because we have to be productive for other people. Other people have to make money off of us. So we have to be working until we drop dead before we can even get to retirement. Okay. That's what they want from us. We are working cows. And the souls are like, no more. I'm here to follow my passion, to share my abilities, to share my qualities, to share my gifts with the world, to help other people feel good, but also to help myself expand as a soul. And so that's the message for you. Same thing with the whales, they're very active and playful, and that's who you are too. You have a great sense of humor is what they're showing me. You are a person who likes to have fun, but your incorrect way of thinking and your incorrect actions, they prevent you from being playful. Have more fun in life, right? These guys are like, yeah, they roll with their own flow too. They're not in a hurry. We're going to eat when we find something, no worries. But at the meantime, they play, they have fun, because you are a people person. You like to do things with other people in a fun way, but your lifestyle doesn't allow it to. So switch that way. All right. I'm going to write your name down so I can put it in the comment section who I pulled cover. There you go, Tessa. And my job in the school is always timelines and due dates. So separate job and life. As soon as you come home, no more timelines, no more do this, do that. Do the things at your own pace. And even in the job, although there's timelines and due dates, the way you choose to perceive and act during your job can be at your own pace and at your own rhythm. All right. Try and find a way to incorporate that. All right. Well, I hope that helps, my love. All right. Deborah, in 2018, Emma and Eric gave a message to my daughter, Jessica, that was very helpful to her. She has undergone a lot of life changes since then and would love another message. Will do. All right, Jessica. Let's get another card for Jessica. This one. This one. All right. Tessa, in the future, there's really no future, is there? We're only now. But in the fifth dimensional reality, the school systems will change. And they will go more into kind of a nature school kind of system where children will be allowed to learn at their own pace, will be allowed to explore much more aspects of themselves without being indoctrinated to follow the rules and go pee when you're allowed to go pee and all of that stuff. All that's going to go. So we got 2 for Jessica. 2 jumped out. Joy is the ultimate creator. And we have, I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. There you go. So it looks like what I'm receiving on an intuitive level is, yes, she's done massive amounts of work and she is doing great, but she is still in need of teaching herself how to be an observant of her own actions, her own behaviors, her own thought patterns. So she's done a lot of healing. She's done a lot of releasing. She's done a lot of self-encouragement, self-love. But to this day, she needs to learn to be self-observant. That means to be able to look at her actions at the end of each day. She should just take a quick peek at what she went through that day. Even if there was nothing special, how did she react in certain things? It's about being very kind and very loving with yourself, right? But it's about being able to observe your own actions from a third person's perspective. And then she can still see, or give herself advice on what might still be lingering on in the subconscious. Okay, we do a lot of things unconsciously. A lot of behaviors or thinking patterns happen in the unconscious. We're not even aware of it. But when we can do self-observation, then we can completely alter our autopilot and therefore create a new autopilot that is more supportive for her creation and her manifestation of her tomorrow moment. Does that kind of make sense? But again, it has to be with the teacher of love, okay? She has to be able to observe herself, not critical, but just simply out of interest in, is there still something lingering on that I might have not picked up on? And by doing so, she will gain or teach herself the tools to be able to find answers, solutions in the behavior that flows from actions or events. Okay, does that kind of make sense? And be able to look at her own actions and say, oh, I could have done that differently. Next time I will approach or respond to a person who might be saying something similar in this way. You become the master of yourself. Does that kind of make sense? Part of her journey is to be full on master of her own beingness and to no longer simply react from an unconscious source. Does that kind of make sense? That's part of her, like what she wants to accomplish. Because when we become 100% master of our own actions, our feelings, our thoughts, our energy, then this reality becomes 100% what we want it to be. You become a master manifester. But you can't get to that level until you completely master one's own energy and responses. Does that kind of make sense? And so she's doing great, is what they're saying. She really is. She needs to, don't be so critical. Have more fun, though. She's not having enough fun. Okay. She needs to just be like a little kid in a candy store and just go crazy. Okay. To not know, because right now she's done all the work, but it's been work. Now she needs to learn to have fun with it. Now she needs to learn to just enjoy and be in a blissful, happy, joyful state without being concerned about actions, reactions, without being too overly concerned about where is this going to lead me? If I do this work, where is it going to? Just be, okay? Be and do a little bit more observing of oneself, of one's reactions. At the end of each day, have a little review and say, oh, I should have responded differently to that person, but that's okay. It's okay. You love yourself enough to say, we're learning, we're growing, we'll get there. The more observant you become, the more you start to master and alter the automatic responses. And the more you master all of that, and the more you, in a way, grow your own, not the imprinted automatic responses from when you were a child and a baby, from the society and all of that, in school and all of that those are all, brainwashing imprints that we've been through. You can't do this, you can't be rude, you can't be, You can be whatever you want to be as long as you love yourself and as long as you don't hurt other people, right? This is the only rules that the universe have. You are not allowed to hurt or interfere with another person's journey, even if it brings, an uncomfortable encounter between you two. Accept it, send them love, and let them go. That's really what it's about. It's not about going into a reactive stage, but it's really about going into an acceptance stage and moving on. So that's the message. I hope that kind of makes sense. Hope that helps. All right. Let's see. Moon van Donselaar. All right, cool. Let me know if it resonates with her. Moon van Donselaar. Hoopa. That one flew out, didn't it? Lost and found. Look at that. Lost and found. What was once lost is about to be found thanks to the lost and found fairy. Sometimes she can help us find things we never even realized were lost. Okay. I'll call you Mr. Moon because I don't know if that's really your first name. Mr. or Mrs. Moon. What am I getting? It's almost like you were born awake. You were born with abilities. You were born with a super sensitivity. You were different. You were different. Monique, okay. Monique, you were different. You were always what they would say with your heads in the clouds. You were always dreaming off. You were always, you're always in a high vibrational state until you were condensed. Until you were punished in a way, wake up, pay attention, sit still, whatever. You were born on a very high frequency. You were always sensitive. You received things. You could see things that other people couldn't. But I feel like at one point in your childhood, that was shut down. But you've always felt it inside. You've always had a different, you feel like you were different. You always had this urge, this pull inside of you, right? This pull to explore and see things from a different perspective. And it just feels like the surroundings, your family maybe, or your friends or school, whatever it may be, weren't as supportive of that because they were not in that fourth, fifth dimensional frequency. And so over time, you've kind of lost that very clear, very kind of undisputable connection, right? It's still there, but it's kind of covered up under all these layers and layers of manipulation and fear and all of that stuff that was installed into you. But they're kind of making me feel like you're on this verge, you're on this verge of unleashing that, of opening Pandora's box and go, fuck, so I feel like you're on this edge, of getting this kind of Kundalini awakening where you're going to be like all of a sudden seeing things differently and experiencing things that are like, what? You're right there, right? You're right there. But it's almost like you have to give yourself permission to allow yourself to be crazy. Okay. You gotta be like me. You're like, I'm crazy and I love it. Thank you. When people say you're nuts, great. That's exactly who I want to be. It's about giving yourself permission to go loony toony because the loony toony is more real than the reality. The reality that was imprinted into us. Okay. So allow yourself to go gaga. Because Gaga is better than Goo Goo. Okay, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but you got to get to a point like, for example, I don't know if I'm making any sense here. You have to allow yourself to be okay to be the only one to believe you. Okay? You don't need other people's approval. Even people that are close to you that you may love very dearly, it's okay if they don't believe you. You have to get to a point where you're no longer trying to convince other people that, hey, maybe this isn't as crazy as people say it is. You have to get to a point where you allow yourself to say, this isn't crazy at all. This is reality. You're the ones who are crazy for not believing this. Does that kind of make sense? Does that kind of make sense? It's like the bees, right? The bees are not going to waste their time convincing the flies that honey tastes sweeter than shit. The bees just do their own thing, and the flies are there as well, and they live together. They co-create their reality. They live together. They value each other. They love each other. But they're not going to try and convince them that honey's better than shit. Because to the other people, the other flies, they love shit more than honey. Right? Does that kind of make sense? Anyway, that's the message for you today. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But it's like, go, girl. You go. Go crazy. You're allowed to be crazy because crazy is the new reality, right? It's always been the real reality, but we were just taught a different story, all right? So allow yourself to be crazy, and everybody else will follow eventually. Whether they do right away or not, you don't need to teach them. You don't need to educate them. If they are interested, they will step forward and ask, okay? But be you. Allow yourself to be that, to open that door again, because it's always been open. That's why you've always felt different. That's why you always felt like, I don't see the world that way. I don't understand this world. I don't understand why people do what they do. It doesn't make sense because it just you don't resonate with that frequency because you know more than what they are trying to make us believe. And that's why this world has never felt great. You've just kind of survived through it. But it's time to live. It's time to be yourself, and it's time to go Google. Okay? So you go Google by being Gaga. Okay. Hope that makes any sense. I have a weird way of explaining stuff that I feel sometimes. Hi, Kim. Is there perhaps a message for my Aunt Angelica? All right, let's take a look. Aunt Angelica. Which one? We're going for the animals. Okay, hold on. Sip of tea. You're welcome, Monique. I never fit in. I never felt like this was my home ever since I was a child. I never felt like I fit into the societal. I was always the outsider. I had very little friends, and the friends that I did have were all weird and quirky. And we were all weird and quirky together, and everybody else had their clans, and they had their societal groups, and they were all the cool kids, or at least that's what they think. But now they all come to me. They never wanted to have anything to do with me. And it's kind of funny, but because now all of them are so lost, they come to me. So they were the cool kids, and and that's okay. Like I said, everybody eventually get to that point at their own pace. It depends on what their soul wants to experience in this current lifetime, this current incarnation. But what's crucial in this lifetime is just to allow yourself to be you, and I've always felt like I was different, and I believed in magic, and I believed in fairies, and there goes a card. I believe that there's much more than what we can see, and I've always known that. It's not even a belief system. I just knew it. But I tried to fit in for so long as a child. Everybody wants to be loved, and you just try to fit in. And I tried to do the jobs that people expected me to do, and I hated every single one of them. It's like every time I tried to follow what was expected of me, it just turned into disaster, and I just felt awful. And then at one point, I just had enough, and I was like, "Fuck it! I'm just gonna go crazy, and I'm gonna be crazy, and I'm gonna love it." So now, when people call me crazy, I thank them for the compliment, because I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be just me, uniquely me, because that's what we come down here for. You got to embrace yourself and your quirkiness. You look at a lot of people that become very influential. They're very quirky. Robin Williams, quirky as hell. So many people are quirky, but it's that uniqueness that draws us to them, because they're different. All the people who stepped outside of the box of the conventional thinking are the ones who discovered the most, because they didn't want to follow the rules, or they didn't want to, Albert Einstein, Tesla, even Hawkins. I mean, he is like, 5 years to live. Fuck that shit. Let's try 45 or 50. I don't know how long he lived with his disease, but he wasn't going home, because he was like, fuck this is my reality. I'm going to stay along, So be quirky. Love it. Enjoy it. Soak into it till your fingers get all pruny. You're gonna thank yourself later when you go home and you get your life free. You're gonna be like, score. All right, seeing both sides. This is for Aunt Angelica. Seeing both sides. Take a step back and try looking at this from a different perspective. What I'm getting on an intuitive level is that she's kind of conflicted about making a certain decision. It's almost like she wants to do something, or she wants to undertake something, but either she doesn't know what, or she's fearful of taking the step. She's fearful of taking a risk, maybe. And it's almost like you have to look at it from all the things it can bring you, instead of all the things that could go wrong. When I look at the picture, these are hammerhead sharks, right? But hammerhead sharks, yeah, they might be sharks, but they don't harm. They will never attack you, for example, right? They're not like other sharks. So they might be sharks, but these sharks are dangerous for people. Does that kind of make sense? It's not because something may seem dangerous that it's going to be. So it's about changing perspectives, whatever it is, because I feel like she wants to change certain things. Like, she's tired. She's tired of her reality. She's tired of the same thing over and over again. I feel like she really deeply wants to make a change in some aspect of her journey, or maybe in all aspects of her journey, but she is fearful towards the unknown. And they're saying change perspectives. Do not look towards what could be fearful, but look towards what it could bring you, what it can offer you. And when you keep your focus on that, then nothing will go wrong. Okay? That is the message I'm getting for Aunt Angelica. I don't know if that makes any sense. If it doesn't right away, then maybe it'll make sense later. But I hope that helps. All right. All right, we're going to do Mary McGuire. Mary McGuire, she lost her dog Kisses. Oh. She had to put him down, and she's a little worried that Kisses is angry. He's not. I don't think Kisses is angry. Not at all. I almost feel like there was relief. There really was a lot of pain that came before it. And there's I feel definitely gratitude. But let's get a card and see if we can get a message from Kisses. I feel gratitude mostly. gratitude, but there's also missing you. It sounds like, I don't know if it's a she. For some reason, I feel like it's a she. I could be wrong though, because energies from animals are very, I don't know how to say it. They don't identify with a certain sex. So their energies is usually pretty balanced between male and female energy. Kim says, I'm sure this will help her a lot. I hope so. Hope so. Opa. There. Oh, we got two. Look at that. Setting up parameters and resilience. This is for Mary McGuire. Let's see what the message is. Oh, I'm sweating already. The energies have flown freely today. Setting up perimeters. Assess your relationships and determine how they are aligned with your goals. Setting boundaries requires an honest evaluation of your present relationships. Interesting. And then resilience. There is no need to rush or push. This is a time to take things as they come. You have the determination and patience to handle what is happening. So what I'm getting on an intuitive level is that what this experience with kisses was all about is for you to really trust your intuition. Kisses was communicating to you that the suffering needed to end, that Kisses was giving you approval to do so, okay? But you don't trust what you feel. You doubt still the intuition that is set into place, although your intuition is pretty spot on, is what they're saying, Mary. Your intuition is pretty spot on, yet you doubt when it comes to your own personal journey. When it comes to advising other people, you're like, oh yeah, this and that and this and that and this and that. When it comes to your personal life, you doubt yourself because you feel like you can't distinguish what the human ego desire versus, the higher communication that's happening. But you have to understand that nothing in life will occur unless, it is meant to occur as well. Okay. We cannot interfere with certain kind of desired experiences from the different souls that are surrounding us. So what this experience has taught you is, one, unconditional love, to be able to let someone transition that you love dearly, because you love them and you don't want them to suffer. So it kind of puts all relationships into perspective. That's really what this experience was about. And it's also about you learning that your gut instincts, you need to learn to trust them. You need to understand that your communication is far more clear than you think. But try and separate yourself from the emotionality when it comes to things that are close to you. So look at everything from a perspective as if you are looking at your own life as being a friend's life. Okay. And when we do that, then we can make a more neutral communication occur in regards to getting answers for our own personal life, if that makes sense. Okay. So that is the message here. So big hugs and kisses from Kisses. And she, I feel like it's a she. Could be wrong, but she's okay. Let me see what you wrote down here. Will she forgive me? Okay, so it is a she. Okay, I wasn't quite sure. Let's see. I hope that helps. But there's definitely love and appreciation flowing from her. So, Brenda Reuter. Okay, let's do a card for Brenda. Let's see what the energies are like for Brenda. Oh, yes. So we talked at the beginning of the live about the two train tracks running alongside each other right now, the 3 and 4D running running alongside the 5D, but that somewhere in 2024, those tracks are going to separate. So it's really important to stay in that high vibration, to take care of your physical body, your mental body, if you want to look at it that way, your emotional body, and really learn to listen to what your body's telling you. It is normal right now to feel extremely fatigued, to feel drained, to get headaches. Some people will experience nausea. It is normal, okay? If you guys remember during my predictions, they told me that, 2023, don't make too many big plans. Don't make big lists like I did. I never listened to my team. With big and long projects on them, okay? Because you're going to be too tired and too fatigued to get them into fruition or to finalize them, and then you're going to get frustrated with yourself. And yeah, well, that's exactly what I've been doing. That's how much I listen to my team, right? So I just have to accept for myself, for example, that I might not be able to get all the work done that I said I was going to do in August. And I haven't gotten all the videos done that I wanted to do. And I've just been really tired, really drained, really fatigued. And it's this off and on. Like, then I have days where I feel in flow and I feel good. And then it goes down again. And Gerald's been the same way. And pretty much everybody that I know that's on a pretty operating from a high level is going through the same stuff. So don't get down on yourself, okay? Love yourself and just say, you know what? This is a transitioning year, this year and next year. But in 2025, the timelines will have separated. They're supposed to separate next year. We just don't know when. Is it the beginning, the middle, or the end of the year? That's going to depend on us. But next year, those lines are separating for sure. And then people who remain on the 3D will continue. People who go on the 5D will continue and move away from that. But this is where people get confused. You're still going to be able to communicate with each other. Because, well, let's say one of your family members stays on the 3D. And you're on the 5D. Well, you're still going to be able to experience the same world, but how you're experiencing it will be different. And it is possible that those relationships will no longer feel good, and you might still say hi from time to time, but you'll no longer be as actively engaged with one another as you were several years ago. Does that kind of make sense? So relationships, some might change dramatically. Some might just be like, they become more distant because you'll be experiencing the same world in a whole different perspective, right? You're going to see more only the positive things and experience all the, the changes that are happening for the better of man, while they will experience a whole different version of that. Does that kind of make sense? Yes, blurry outside. So I haven't had problems with my eyes, but Gerald's been having massive eyesight problems, getting blurry, watery eyes. His eyes turn red out of nowhere. So yeah, there's physical things are happening because our DNA is right now being adjusted. It's being reprogrammed, okay? And it takes a ton of energy. And unfortunately, that means that we're not going to be able to get all our to-do lists done this year. When we just got to surrender to it. It's going to get done when it's going to get done, okay? Give yourself a break, okay? Don't be so hard with yourself. If you're like me, I'm very demanding on myself. I'm an Aries, so it's like, go, go, go. I want to achieve and accomplish a lot of things. And then when I don't, I get down on myself. Oh, you're so weak. Why can't you be like everyone else? Like, yeah, I think that way. Okay. From time to time, those thoughts come up. I have neighbors who are 72 years old and they have more energy than I do. Okay. It's bad when you start to look around and you go, okay, these people have more energy than I do. But then again, they're not operating from a higher frequency, and I love them to bits, but they are still very much in the 4D. Moving up there slowly but surely. They've learned a lot from me. Although I think sometimes they still think that, okay, I don't get that one, but But they're open to it, which is good. But I need a card for Brenda, please. They're thinking, Brenda. But we're still going to be able, I just don't want people to think that we're not going to see the 3D people anymore, that they're disappearing. They're not. It's just it's your reality. Your reality will change, and they will see things, more negative and experience it more negative as you will. You will have a whole different experience because you're just operating from different frequencies, and in different frequencies, certain things can no longer exist. So in the 5D, extreme suffering, extreme pain, extreme fear can no longer exist in those frequencies. And you're still going to have doubts, and it's still a world of duality, but it's not going to be at the level that we've experienced in the past. Okay, it's all going to be more balanced, and there we go, and all of that jazz. Oh, I got two. The Central Sun and Anunnaki light codes, Brenda. It's complex. Okay, the universe is a very, I don't know if it doesn't want to zoom in. There it goes. The universe is very complex, and it's hard to comprehend. Well, how can I be in a different frequency, in a different dimension, and still co-create? Because it's all one earth, okay? But what changes is your experience. You're not really here. You're not really here. Remember, you're in heaven. It's just you're just connecting to this body, to the conscious. You're putting your consciousness into a physical body, but you're not really here. You're there in your booth with your 4D goggles on, okay? The only thing that changes is the reality that you perceive around you. It's like going to a video game. It's like playing a video game with other people, right? Online, you can play video games with other people. But you're playing the same video game, but you've reached a different level of the game. So although you're all together in that video game, they're at a different level. They're having different realities than you are. Does that kind of make sense? I don't know if that makes any better sense. Anyway, Brenda, sorry, honey. I love you. Love you, Brenda. So the Central Sun, it says abundance, downloads, regeneration, and success. And then the Anunnaki light codes says energy shifts, new information, and an end of cycle. So it feels to me like, what you've been going through is kind of an ending of things. I feel like things need to come to an end in order for new doors to open up. And it's that ending of things, the changes that comes with the ending of things, that can seem scary, that can seem challenging, because you don't know what's on the other side of the door yet. Okay. But what is important is to embrace the idea, the truth that there is a door. Even if you can't see the door yet, it's there. Okay. And all the universe is doing right now, it's kind of cleaning up the energies that no longer align with you. And I feel like there might be changes in friendships. There might be changes, on a financial level that come with that. I just feel like there's, maybe even in family, there might be some changes there. Whatever it is, things are happening because certain energies need to be removed, neutralized, and replaced. Okay. And for many people, that can be a scary thing. When the universe starts clearing your clutter, it can be scary because as our human egos hold on to that clutter, we identify with a lot of it. We've created our character, our human persona around many of these old energies. Okay. Even around friends, we've become a persona in order to fit into those friendships, or certain jobs or finance or anything that brings in finances, certain jobs, for example, certain activities that we did in the past. If it's not going to sustain you in the 5D, it is going to be removed. And again, that is scary because we rely on that. For example, we believe we've been told and we've convinced ourselves that, hey, I can't survive without that, without those financial incomes, or without this and that. And yes, you can. You just change, you alter, you adapt, and you go into a more into a direction that's more resonant with the new you, that brings more passion, more joy into your life. Okay. So many times we hold on to things that we think bring us joy, but really are more of a burden on an energetic level. For example, it's exhausting to be around people, yet we hold on to those people for dear life, because I mean, who are we without them? I don't have any other friends. For example, what if I let them go? I won't have any friends. But those friends, for example, are not good for us. Okay, they drain us. They are not operating at our level. They don't see the world that we see. They don't operate, and they don't support your future journey of being in the 5D. They hold you down here. They anchor you into the 3D or the 4D. So whatever's happening for you, Brenda, it might be scary, but release the fear, because it's happening for your good. Certain things need to change, need to be removed, because it is keeping you in a place you don't want to be anymore. It's keeping you in a 3D, 4D reality, and your soul is ready to move into 5D. So allow the changes to happen, and only operate from love and appreciation, because the universe will take care of you. The universe will provide you more friendships, more abundance in all the different forms, emotionally, financially. It'll all come unexpectedly, maybe, because we want to control everything so much. We don't expect the universe to just show up and say, here you go. But it will if you remain in that faith, and if you remain in that frequency that, hey, whatever's happening, it needs to happen, even if I don't understand it, but I am full of acceptance, and I am ready to receive more than what is being offered at this moment. It's about being ready and being already appreciative for what you've received, although it hasn't shown up yet, or it hasn't come clear yet. Does that kind of make sense? I hope that makes sense, Brenda. Hope that helps. Big kiss to Aaron and everybody else. Love you guys. All right. Deborah says, I know exactly what you mean about the separate timelines regarding relationships. I think it's already affecting me. I've been having a lot of trouble because he's in a whole different reality than me. He loves me so much, but I feel very aloof and separated from him because he is on a timeline that seems so unimportant and fake to me. Yeah, it's hard when we don't resonate, especially with those very close to us, and we love them, but it can be really hard to co-create when your versions of reality are so different, but sometimes we have to, and not always. I mean, it's very important in those moments that you stay 100% true to yourself, that you feel fulfillment within being with yourself. And therefore, there's no longer a need from the other partner to fulfill certain things. Okay. And we can still co-create and coexist, each on their own little version of the planet. If that is enough for a person, then that can work. If that is not enough for a person, if you want more out of the relationship, then sometimes the most loving thing to do is to allow each other the freedom, to maybe go separate ways in order for each one of you to attract a new relationship that is more aligned with your frequency. And that can be, that is love too. Is sometimes love is to let go, but it depends on the situation. It depends on what you want in life, and that's something you have to just decide for yourself. Okay. But the first step is always to be okay with being with yourself, and that is sufficient, that we are no longer dependent on another soul to make us feel whole, to make us feel complete. When we can manifest and accomplish that, then there's many different ways of defining what the relationship looks like. Does that kind of make sense? Because a lot of times people are in a relationship and it's a dependency upon each other. Relationships should never be a dependency. Relationships should be just a passion for one another to be able to share and co-create. But if the co-creative process is no longer there, we have to stop and question if that relationship is still beneficial to both parties, because maybe you guys are missing out on certain souls that are meant to come into the journey so you can learn more and grow and ascend as souls. By you kind of block each other by staying together. I see that happening so many times where people stay together because it's easy, because it's hard to separate, and but you don't, sometimes you completely block those souls then from growing. Your soul and their soul won't be able to expand because we're refusing them to, even though it might hurt, I'm not saying that it's painful, but sometimes we have to let go in order to allow the new teachers, because every relationship is a teacher student relationship. We learn from each other, we share, we grow from one another. But if there's no more growth, then we're still holding on to it, then we are blocking the opportunity for new teachers to come in, for new students to come in. I don't know if I'm making any sense. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Anna Laura Garcia. What is she saying? Anna says, I've been feeling very distressed, for both my daughters are struggling, one with severe anxiety and depression, and the younger with bipolar. It has reached a crisis lately, and I'm very worried about them being able to go on with their lives in a way that will bring them happiness or contentment. Can I please get a card regarding this issue? Okay. It is hard to see our loved ones suffer, especially as a parent, but understand that there is value in suffering. Okay? There's always something to be gained from that. What is important is that there's a dialogue, that they can express themselves and their pain and suffering freely without people trying to fix them. Okay, I already have one card, but I feel like I need two because we're talking about two people. There it goes. And that's something people don't always realize. As a human being, we always want to fix everything right away. We don't like to see suffering. We don't like to experience suffering. And when we see loved ones suffer, we instantly want to fix and correct the situation. But sometimes we need to be led down to that deep black hole in order for the awakening to occur. Okay, that's what happened to me. And I've talked to a lot of people that happened as well. Sometimes you have to get to the deepest, darkest place in order to find the light again, in order to understand that you're the answer. Right now, they're looking outwards for answers. They're looking outside of themselves to find the solutions, and they can't, because the solutions is inside each of them. Let's see what cards we got. I am the loving energy of the universe. I am. See, there it goes already. And in every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me towards right-minded thinking and the energy of love. I think that's very, very clear, isn't it? So that's kind of confirming exactly what I'm saying. In order to love someone completely, we also have to honor their soul's journey. And we are there to help. We can offer help. We can love them unconditionally. But sometimes what the other person needs to hear is that it's okay if you feel shitty. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up for it. Sometimes we need to just show understanding that from time to time, being in pain could be part of the soul's desired journey. And just the acceptance alone that that is part of it, that there's nothing wrong with you being in that negative space, being different. You know, when you're bipolar, your brain functions differently. We just need, sometimes the spirits need to know that we don't need to fix you. I will love you unconditionally, no matter what what you choose for yourself. I will love you, and I am there for you. But they need to understand that the answer can only be found within. You can't help them to find that love within. You can't help them to find the light. You can only help them to feel seen and to feel loved and to feel accepted. Okay? But the love energy within them is the only thing that can guide them to the light. So don't try to fix them, but instead embrace the journey that their soul is on right now. They're being guided by their team, even if it is painful to watch. Tell them that, you're the answer. And when you're ready, you will find that light. And I'm always there to help and assist when you need me. But honor your suffering at the same time, because the suffering is trying to tell you something about you. There's value in suffering. And sometimes we just have to honor that, hey, right now I feel like shit. Right now I don't really want to be here anymore. Sometimes we just have to allow that to be okay. That right now I don't want to be here. But maybe tomorrow it will change. Sometimes we have to allow ourselves to feel what we feel without judging it. And they need to stop judging themselves for not have found their light yet. Okay? And so we need to stop judging them as well. Is that going to make sense? I don't know if I'm making any sense. But I feel like they're going to find their way. But they beat themselves up for not being perfect. They beat themselves up for not feeling good. And when the outsiders are constantly trying to help and fix them, we're only highlighting the fact that they're doing bad. You're doing something wrong. We're only enhancing the judgment that they already feel about themselves. Instead, when we find acceptance, for the strugglings that they're going through, I know it's tough, but, maybe one day, you'll start to feel better, because, the struggling might be telling you something, or this might be the universe trying to show you the way to the light. And in order to find the light, you first have to experience the darkness, because how do you know what light and love feels like if you haven't experienced the opposite of it? That might be something to tell them, for example. It's okay. Honor your struggles. It's hard. It's not an easy path. But your soul knew that you were strong enough to, in some way or form, experience both sides of the duality. And when you're ready, you will find the light. And I'll be here every day until then and after. Okay? That's something we need to learn, to teach people that it's okay if you don't feel great. It's okay. The suffering is teaching you something. Your soul is wanting to experience something different. Okay? And if we do that, we would help so many people with depression so much better, instead of always trying to fix them. Because when we try to fix them, we give out the signal that there's something wrong with you. And then the self-judgment that they already feel just becomes even more heightened. Does that kind of make sense? And then they feel like they're a burden to people, and that's when they commit suicide, because they feel like everybody else will be better off without me. Does that make sense? So don't judge them, even if it's from the good of your heart. Don't make them feel like they're broken. They're not. They're just having an experience, and they need to understand that this is just an experience. Your soul right now is in heaven, having happy, happy days. Okay? Because a bad day for the ego is a good day for the soul, because every experience is valuable up there. And they need to understand that. They're just having an experience, and it is valuable in some way or form to their soul. And in order for them to fully understand themselves as a soul, they have to experience opposites. So that means that if you've experienced negativity right now, your future can only go into the bright side. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. All right, let's see. Hi, Corinne. Elaine Floor. Let's do Elaine. Let's see. All right, let's do Elaine. This one. Hello, Corinne. Card for Elaine. Elaine, believe in magic. I believe in magic. Excuse me. Got a little bit of acid coming up. Chamomile tea will soothe that. There it goes. It's gone. Okay. Open your eyes and see the magic that's all around in nature. The fairy of the Northern Lights says you are a part of nature, so you are magical too. Elaine, why am I feeling like you're exploring or maybe thinking about becoming sort of a witch? I don't know what is up with that. I could be completely off, but it almost feels like you really want to explore the more shamanistic kind of witchcraft approach to spirituality and magic, to really, because witches were really just healers and energy healers and mediums and all of that. They just got a really bad name. But it almost feels like that might be something you're playing with, an idea you're playing with, or something you want to maybe explore a little bit. And they're saying, go for it. They're saying, go for it, because you are a person. Yes, you have great belief systems in place. You've always been sensitive. You've always been connected. But you are a person who likes certain rituals. You're a kind of a ritualistic person who needs rituals to truly feel that connection, and it's in the mind. The connection's always there, but it's almost like you would benefit in some way or form from a more ritualistic approach to spirituality, in order for you to convince your human mind that you're undergoing steps to make the communication happen, to make the healing happen, and so on and so forth. Because when I look at this picture, she has this kind of staff, and I don't know what all of that is. That might just be a branch, but it looks like a staff to me. It just feels like she's just got her necklace, she's got her crown. It just feels like a witch, a good witch that's here to present positive, loving magic in order to assist everyone, assist the world. Because, there are so many people who do thrive with those ritualistic things. That's where shamanism is very popular, because it gives you a tool, or at least it gives your mind a belief system that it has the tool to open the connections. You don't really need it, but if the mind needs that comfort, like some people need cards, I just do it for fun, the cards, but some people really need their tarot cards, or they need this, or they need that. Sometimes people need to feel or experience the aid of tools in order to help them open up that communication even more, that healing even more, and so on and so forth. So Elaine, if you've been thinking about that, or if that's something that's interesting you, it's really something that they kind of, recommend. That's the word. All right. All right, guys. I'm going to do one more card for the group. And then I will see you guys next week. Which one? Tomorrow I will try and do a channeling. It's been a crazy, hectic week, so I have not had the time. Today, we've been entertaining all day. So with the vacation here in France, everybody takes their vacation in August. So I get yesterday I had people over. They just, they don't call. This is something about the French. For some reason, they usually don't call. They just show up. And that's okay. But it kind of gets my plans out of whack. So I have to adjust and just flow with it. So hopefully tomorrow I will have some time to do a deep channeling for you guys so I can make a post. Which one, guys? That one? Okay. So let's do a card for everyone. Because I believe in magic. And I got that song stuck in my head. All right. One more card. And then I'm out of here. I'm going to go put my car in the garage. Put my animals away so they're safe from predators. Because we do have foxes here and wolves and snakes and all that stuff. So I keep them indoors at night, although my cats always escape, but the chickens are indoors. I find a deeper meaning and personal growth amidst the discomfort. Look, that's what we were talking about. There is value in suffering. Look at that. I think that's the overall message here today is, if we are going through discomfort, if we are going through hard times, sit back, relax, calm the mind, calm the heart, calm the emotions, and see the silver lining. What can you learn from this? What is the universe trying to help you to experience during these trying times? There's always something to learn. And the moment we are able to find the value in a certain moment of suffering or a certain experience that doesn't feel very comfortable, the moment we find something positive about it, what we are learning, what the universe is asking from us in that moment, that's the moment that we change the energy of that moment. That's the moment we change the experience. And when we change the frequency, the energy of that uncomfortable experience, of that suffering, then it flips around real quick. It can resolve itself real quick. Okay? Suffering only continues when we choose to only see the suffering, when we choose to only focus on what is lacking, what is upsetting us, all of the negative stuff. If it's, bringing more fear into you. When we continue to only see that in an event, then the suffering will continue. It will linger on until you change your perspective on it, until you focus on something else. Sometimes something else will come in, and then you'll notice that suffering just vanished. So that's the message here. Find the meaning in your discomfort. Why are you suffering? Why is this so painful? Why is this so uncomfortable? And what could my soul be wanting to learn from this? The moment you give it a positive vibration, a positive reinforcement, that's the moment that we change the energy that surrounds that negativity, and we allow it to dissolve much quicker. than we would if we continued to focus on all the negativity. Does that kind of make sense? So that is the message for all of us today. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling fatigued, Corrine, go look at the beginning of the recording. We talked about this very intense transition that we're making right now on an energetic level. If you feel like you can't get anything done this year, your to-do list just keeps growing and nothing gets flung off, nothing gets striped through like mine, it's okay. All right, it's okay. It is part of the ascension process right now, and the energies have sped up like crazy. Like it is going full blown speed train. Okay, we're on a speed train right now, and it is bloody exhausting. And it's going to come with massive ups and downs, days where you feel like you're great, you're in flow, and then the next day you're crashing and burning. Embrace yourself, listen to what your body is telling you. If you need a break, take a break. This is really about this year and next year, somewhere next year, that 5D train track is moving away from the 3D. So this is the year, this year, and maybe the beginning of next year is the year where we how would you say it? We reserve our seat on the 5D train, okay? Where we are, okay, we're on the 5D. Now we just need to wait till the tracks separate in order to actually see much more differences in our reality. It is happening next year where the train tracks will separate, okay? Right now, like I said, the dark forces are trying to keep them together because they don't want the majority of humanity to move into 5D. They don't want that, but they're at their last straw, okay? Most of the evil forces have already moved off this planet, is what Spirit has been telling me. And the few that are remaining are trying desperately they're running out of fuel. Okay, they got nothing left, but they're trying desperately to keep the train tracks together so nobody can move on, but they can't stop us. Okay, so disconnect from any negativity, listen and honor your body, even if it doesn't work with other people's ideas. If you need to call in sick from work, call in sick. If your body is like, you know what, you need to recuperate, re-energize, honor it, value it, because in the long run, it's going to allow you to stay on the 5D train and not get sucked back into the 3D, 4D timeline. Okay, it's all about honoring and listening to yourself and your body, and as long as we do that, we will be permanently going into a new version of this current reality with the other people. But like I said, even if your loved ones or friends are staying on the 3D, 4D reality, they're still going to be part of your reality, but it is possible that those relationships will become more and more distant, more and more, and less engaged, because you're just simply not going to see the same reality. You guys are going to see something beautiful, more renewed, and they're going to still see what we used to see. And it's going to be really hard to convince them that it's like this, because they're not going to be on that frequency to be able to perceive that more positive version of the earth. All right. So there you go. Woo! Thanks, Tessa. I'm happy the messages resonate with you. I hope, I always hope that I have over 500 Patreons, but these lives, they only get like 30 views, 50 views, which I am so surprised by, because I always feel like every live session we do has so much value, so much information that can help every single one of them. So hopefully, more people will watch the live, even if they didn't get a card. I believe that every live, I feel things, I share it. There's so much value there, and if they're ready to see it, I'm sure they'll find it. All right, I love you guys, and like I said, I'm hoping to do a channel post tomorrow. If not, then it might be on Monday. I'm just kind of rolling with it. As I said, like I used to have a very steady schedule for Patreon. It was always every weekend. But like I said, the energies are like, wee. So I just kind of have to go, because if I'm in the wee down, then, the communication becomes a little bit more tough. I have to wait till it moves back up. Right now, I feel great. But a couple of days ago, I was not feeling shitty. If that's okay. I accept, I love, and embrace that this is part of the growth process, and we move on. Okay. But like I said, take care of yourself, flow at your own pace, at your own rhythm, and stay in that high vibration, even if it is uncomfortable. Just keep telling yourself these are growing pains and it's okay. All right. All right. I love you guys, and hopefully see you soon.